Hey everybody, and welcome back to reality? Maybe not.
No one, even the most advanced professionals, really understands the nature of reality, and it's one of the big open problems and questions in science today. We all might have ideas, we might think we know something. Our best science suggests that our imagination is not yet big enough. We need to explore further.
Maybe we are actually creating our reality. I don't exist, well I know that, and nor do you, and nor does everything that you perceive. We are, in fact, a product of our own consciousness creating reality. I don't want to undermine your reality, but there's actually science behind what I'm discussing today. We live in a far-field world. That means we live in a world made up of mainly stable atoms. When you go to the kitchen and find a glass, a transparent solid stuff, and put water in it and drink it, we're not actually holding glass. We're not actually drinking water. We are perceiving the solidity of the glass, and we are enjoying the refreshing nature of hydrogen and oxygen in its liquid state. Science for over 125 years has recognized that things are made up of atoms, and science for over 70 years has known that those atoms don't exist. Those tiny plum puddings or meatballs that we call atoms are in fact just empty space and energy. We are just bonds. Humans perceive reality through our senses: smell, touch, sight, and hearing. But all those senses actually do is give our brains an idea of what reality is. The true nature of reality is nothing like we perceive. That's why I think we have great difficulty in understanding UFO and UAP, because maybe they, whoever they are in a different reality, or in a reality that our limited human senses can't perceive. Listen to this guy and listen to what he's saying.
According to Darwin's theory, our sensory systems, eyes, ears, smell, touch, are not shaped to show us the truth. They were shaped to keep you alive long enough to reproduce successfully. Most of us think of reality as whatever is inside space and time. We actually know that space-time cannot be the fundamental nature of reality. Our best theories of space-time, Einstein's theory together with quantum theory, tell us that space-time cannot be the fundamental nature of reality. There's a small, if you go small, so I can talk about a meter.
Yeah.
And then I can go to, centimeters, and then, millimeters. And then we can go, micrometers, and you can go smaller and smaller. At some point, you go so small that space disappears. It no longer even makes sense mathematically. It's 10 to the minus 33 centimeters. So it's actually not that, in my view, it's not that small. It's not 10 to the minus 33 trillion centimeters. It's just 10 to the minus 33 centimeters. And all of a sudden, our equations tell us space-time doesn't have any effective meaning.
Is
There's no
space-time
operational
a proxy
meaning.
for the word reality in some respects?
Well, for most people, I think it is. For most people, they think that space-time is the reality. And what I'm saying is, it's the reality that most of us have assumed is the final reality, and science is now telling us it can't be. It actually, and it tells us precisely at 10 to the minus 33 centimeters, 10 to the minus 43 seconds, the very notion of space-time makes no sense.
Isn't that amazing that you can actually buy a very accurate ruler that helps you descend into a near-field quantum state? The big field, the far-field universe of solid stuff is only a perception. But today, a new science theory even throws out the notion that what we perceive as reality exists at all. Maybe we create reality by our consciousness. And this is really important for UAP and UFO research. So, fellow humans, you viewers ask really good questions. Is our consciousness creating reality?
Do we see reality as it is? The question points to something deeper, perhaps a sign that one of our core assumptions might be wrong, and that fixing this assumption might finally help us understand the nature of reality. Did you know that color simply does not exist in nature? That green in the grass, blue in the sky, and golden hue in gold, if you zoom in close enough, down to the atomic scale, you'll find that color simply isn't there. At the level of individual gold atoms, there's no visible goldenness to them, just arrangements of protons, neutrons, and electrons. No color pigments, no shimmer.
A new study claims that networks, i.e. society with shared consciousness, actually brings reality as we perceive it into being by being conscious. The big picture is that you, an individual, by thinking, by being aware of your surroundings, actually make a choice that generates a solidity. You make it by being conscious. So, are we both gods at making this reality, this far-field consciousness that actually solidifies and stabilizes the near-field quantum nature of atoms into solid things? For example, water. It's hydrogen bonds and oxygen bonds in a glass that we perceive as a liquid. It's very unusual that we would perceive it as a liquid. An alien, for example, with a different sensory system would never perceive a hydrogen bond and an oxygen bond joined together under this atmosphere at this pressure as a liquid and then drink it. Only we do that because we're designed to perceive our reality because of our senses. And maybe that reality is brought into a stable existence because consciousness collapses quantum possibility into one stable thing that we call reality. So is what I'm saying to you just weird, bizarre ramblings of a madman in a basement in France? Luckily for me, and luckily for you, absolutely not. The science community can actually measure the collapse of a quantum waveform caused by consciousness.
The world that you're seeing isn't the true world. All of this that I'm seeing right now is just a virtual reality. It's like you're born with a headset on playing a video game. That's your reality. But if you're the programmer who wrote the code for the game, you know that there's an entire world outside of it, and as the programmer, you can do miracles. And we're opening up a realm of new technologies that are far more powerful than anything we've seen before, like time travel. And nuclear bombs will be like firecrackers. So it's like Pandora's box. There's all sorts of nasty surprises, but they also could be miraculous. But either way, just in the last few months, it started to crack open.
What has been scientifically proved is observers ultimately define the structure of physical reality itself. You are defining your own reality. You and all of us have choices about our future, but when we observe the present, we collapse the quantum future into one reality. And because we're all roughly, I won't take my shirt off, and because we're all roughly built the same, kind of, we have a shared consciousness. We perceive reality as a human in a shared way. But does our shared consciousness actually create a shared reality? These deep, fundamental questions is what science is asking right now. And if we begin to understand a wider nature of reality, we might then be able to perceive UAP and non-human intelligence in a new light, not be trapped in our limited senses, but open a door to their realm. Because I think what we see when we see a UAP in the sky is only a vestige of their reality, a bit that's poking through into what we call a shared consciousness that maybe we create. I think most humans are satisfied with the reality that they create. But when your world gets turned upside down, when you see something highly strange, when a UAP pokes into your reality, you can't process it. And I think it makes us question our own reality. Speaking to UFO, UAP, or the highly strange experiencers, their world is turned upside down.
Well, one day, 3 o'clock in the morning, a lot of things happened about 3 o'clock in the morning. I was sitting at East Gate trying to keep awake, and all of a sudden I could feel the presence of this short, turned out it was gray, behind me. It was directly behind me on the other side of the window. He was outside, I was inside the gate check. But he could tell I was scared. And he said in my mind, a lot of these things happened where he just talked to me in my mind. And he said to me, he knew I was scared. So he said, don't turn around. It's almost in a comforting way. Don't turn around. I don't want to scare you. So I was like, well, fine. I'm not turning around. I'm not turning around. You can do what you got to do, and I'll just,
They suddenly realize that what they live in, their reality, a conscious reality of society, is not the whole picture. I'm going to read you a quote from the direction that science is moving in that I think is going to change the nature of human existence. The observer is the first cause. The vital force, by observing, that collapses the present, but also cascades the spatial temporal events we call past. Stephen Hawking was right when he said, the past, like the future, is indefinite and only exists as a spectrum of possibilities. That rather complex set of words needs unpicking. But it's basically called the God equation. We are our own God. We make heaven and hell. We make the reality that we live in, but we're also incredibly stuck in our senses, and hence we have a very limited perception of a deeper inherent reality. The reality where non-human intelligence might live. Definitely, the truth is out there.
No one, even the most advanced professionals, really understands the nature of reality, and it's one of the big open problems and questions in science today. We all might have ideas, we might think we know something. Our best science suggests that our imagination is not yet big enough. We need to explore further.